Hi, it's Ronnie, and welcome to Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches Round 18. And in this series, all month long, we will be using sketches as our inspiration. And this is a sketch for today, and it was created by Fatima Avila. And I am only going to do the left side. I'm not going to do a two-page layout, although, they're both lovely. And I'm going to use this photo here of Hope and those twigs and twine sequins and the stamps that I was showing there, and by Tim Holtz. And that little flower, I happened to see it and thought I'd better show it. And those alphas, and I do have Rust and Revs for my layout. And this is the paper I picked. The other side, I liked it too, except it had a yellow car. And the car was super cute, but I didn't really need it for my layout. I did stamp the Tim Holtz stamps there to the right. Before I started the video, I used my stamp press thingy and still managed to get the bottom one a wee bit crooked. So I will add something to the left-hand side of the stamp so that it won't show up so much. But the picture of Hope, my son took her with him to to spend the day with him. It was her turn, to spend the day. She was just thrilled. And he took this picture, and she called me on the phone, all excited on the way over there. So I talked to her all the way there. And then he saw her doing this later and took a picture and sent it to me. But I scrapped one from my scrapbook, but this one is Scrapbook. I don't know. I might give her the other one. I sure do love the Rust and Revs, but I guess I could let her pick, right? This border, I think there was two or three of the papers with this as a border, and I was really happy to see that because I knew I wanted to use, you know, what do you call it? Something to do with a tape measure somewhere or another. I didn't have a die, and I didn't see no tape measure in the Rust and Revs, but I thought I could use this and just have it go across there because if you look at the layout, there is a border across there. Hers is on top, the sketch is on top of the photo, and I put mine behind because I wanted the step ladder to show. And this, I had to put this little frame on there with the tab. Oh my goodness, it says nailed it. And I thought, oh, that'll go perfect on here. She wasn't using a hammer or nothing, but I thought since she was helping her daddy, do some remodeling, it would work. And isn't that the cutest frame ever? It's got such cute things in here. And I thought, well, I got to use it. And I started to do it landscape like, but then I got to thinking, well, if I did it this way, my lights would hang down a little bit lower. So I am doing it vertically instead. And I fussy cut that toolbox there out of the packaging. I think maybe on the laser cuts. And I thought for sure I wanted to use it there by the photo, but I'm not going to. And here, the title's over on the right hand side. And that's where it's at on the sketch. But I was thinking, with the tape measure and her, holding it up vertically, I thought maybe I wanted to put it vertically on my layout, which I don't do really often. So it's measure twice and cut once. And if I could have figured out a way where my poor little sewing machine looked a little bit straighter, I mean, it is a wee bit, just a wee bit crooked. I might have went ahead and put it over there, but it was so long and I was going to have to, go down and cover the sewing machine a bit more. And I already had it in my head that I was going to put an embellishment to the left of it. And so, yeah, I moved the title. Uh, I saw this little tag in there, and it says simply, no, listen, you're simply the best. And so I thought I'd put it on there, and I used some black twine for it. Um, I'm thinking maybe it's jute. But anyway, it's black, and I'm putting it on there. And here I'm covering up my sewing machine, and I ended up covering it more than I thought. I put the little saw blade there, and then I seen this other piece, and I do not know what it is, but I liked it. So I put it on there too, and the camera got fussy cut out of the same thing I cut that toolbox out of that I am not going to end up using. And I will pull out a die set, yes, a die set, and cut my toolbox out of it. That lovely branch there is pink fresh, and I'm just cutting it apart and using parts different places. And then the flowers, I had cut them out for another layout and used several on that layout, but I still had some left. So I thought I'd use some on here. And yeah, I may or may not have already had that uploaded. Well, it is uploaded, but I can't remember what the date was that it was on. But yeah, they're left over from another day. Oh, and that piece of chipboard says keep it simple. And I thought since my title is measure twice and cut once, it'd go really well with that. Even scrapbooking, we need to measure twice and cut once sometimes. Well, fairly often if it's something really well, like if I am doing triangles or something like that, yeah, I want to make sure I get them right. And there's the die set. It's an old one, so it's not a layered die set. And so you have to cut everything twice if you want two pieces. But the toolbox comes like that. And I made sure I wasted a very small amount of, well, I didn't waste it because I used it on the tools. But at the time, I thought I was wasting it. Uh, so I could have those nails go across there and they'd get highlighted on the little toolbox. But I'm going to put the saw in the front instead of sticking it in the toolbox. I wanted to kind of highlight it and the teeth on the blade. And I did use I think it's called brushed metallic, where it's not as shiny, it's not the mirrored on the blades and everything else so that they wouldn't be quite as shiny. And one thing about when you're doing layers with the old ones is when you cut it by hand, it looks just a little bit rougher than cutting it with a die. So inking all the way around is a good thing. I did not have to use anything on the little wrench though, which is good too. I'm the well, the last one I'm doing here is some pliers, and it's probably rubber is what it's supposed to be, but I went ahead and put the wood grain on it instead. And I think that's like I said, the last one. And so I'm going to end up tucking them into my little toolbox there. I just love that die set. Oh no, it wasn't the last one. I forgot about the level. and, and I wanted to use some vellum on it, so I pulled out the green vellum and put behind it because you know it always has a plastic bits with the liquid in there so you can level it out. So I used vellum instead. But there's my little saw, and oh, I'm putting the adhesive behind there so that instead of me having to glue each one on there, I can just stick them in there and stick them to that adhesive on the back. But isn't that the cutest little die set? I don't know if it's still available or not. I've had it for years, but I still love it. But I do know there's plenty of toolboxes out there. I like this one because it looks like the old-fashioned one, the old-fashioned wood ones that I seen when um, I was a kid. I have got one that is similar to that. It's made that way, but it is metal of some sort and foam paddings and cloth, and well, canvas, I think it is. And I like it, but every time somebody would work on something for me, I'd lose tools. So guess what I did? I bought pink. Yeah. And I haven't lost any of them yet. Those guys just do not want to walk off with them. Of course, chances are they got some of their tools out of their car or truck and just didn't even pay attention and put them in with theirs. But yeah, of course, it was a lot cheaper because it's free labor than hiring somebody anyway. But yeah, I got pink. And they're staying really clean too, and I've probably had them 2 years. Oh, here's my sequins, and they are Spiegelmom Mom scraps, and they are twigs and twine. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I just love that set. And I'm going to just add them around there. But yeah, she just looks so cute on that step ladder. And with the tape measure, measuring it out. Yeah, yeah. She's going to like this layout. She was scrapbooking for a little while, not very long. And I got to thinking about it, and I think it's because I prepared everything for her at first. And then the last couple times I just gave her, well, I made her her own little, well, it's a rolling uh, toolkit thing, sort of like, with scrapbooking stuff in there. And I think she don't want to make the decision. So I think I'm going to have to set her up little page kits again and sit there with her and help her do it. I think she needs to practice a little more before she has confidence, because I know she loved doing it. But yeah, she's been after me to scrap different things for her instead of her doing it. But there's my completed layout. And of course, I had fun doing it. And look at the sketch up there. Other than me not doing the second page, I stuck pretty close. Well, I did have some add-ons there, but I had fun adding them on. And there's that little, you're simply the best. And she is, but yeah, there she is with her little breeches on there and her funny looking little tennis shoes. And there's that thing I do not know what is. I do know a saw blade though. And I switched out the flowers, you may have noticed, because there was an orange one and I didn't want orange there. So I took the orange off the blue off the bottom and switched out the orange so that it wouldn't be the same color right there. And there's my title. And then I think lastly is that little cluster in the upper left-hand corner with the lights. Just so cute. Isn't that adorable though? Oh yeah, I really liked it. So it went on this layout. But make sure you check out the playlist down there below and see what everybody else has created with Fatima's double page layout. And chances are there's quite a few that did a double page. But I want to thank y'all so very, very much for joining me today while I created mine. And I hope you have a happy, scrappy day. Bye.